Well, we are on our 2019 RV safari, and we have found the cutest little town.
Oh no, this is the most educational town ever. You know, when you roll into a new town and you've never been there before, you may not know what you're going to find. And that's what happened when we got off the freeway and down into downtown Deer Lodge, Montana. Within a couple blocks in one town, you've got an Old West museum, a farm museum, a World War II museum, the world's biggest prison museum, and you've got 140 cars. We got to check it out.
With so many museums and so little time, we had to make some choices. So I picked the prison museum and Chad picked the cars. What else?
Of course, we might have been able to take in 3, but between the decision and the door, there are just so many distractions.
Prisons both fascinate me and scare me. So I'm not sure why I was so drawn to tour this old prison. I couldn't figure out why it seemed so familiar. It wasn't because I spent time there. It was something else. Then it hit me. If you recall, 3 years ago, we toured Alcatraz on our RV safari, and this place was a mirror image of the Rock. As it turns out, they were built at almost the same time. But Montana actually predates the construction of Alcatraz by 3 years, and it was the last prison of that era to close in 1979, some 15 years after Alcatraz was shut down. Now, I'm sure the reason I get so creeped out about cell blocks is because I am very claustrophobic and a little bit of a germaphobe. Actually, a big bit of a germaphobe. So a dark, old, dingy prison cell is the last place on earth I would ever want to spend time in. Chad, on the other hand...
That's really creepy. Anyway, I guess I'm stuck in here for a while. If you don't see me on the show forever, you'll know why. Somebody out there, please bake a cake with a file in it and send it to Chad at the old Montana prison.
Ever notice that Chad seems to have an attraction to bars? From a cell looking out at a prison, or from the street looking in at cars?
That's why I would go. Inside this building, all I see is car after antique car. Well, that's because cars have pretty much been the central theme of my life. On the way home from the hospital, my mom says I cried. She later figured out it's because I couldn't drive. And when you've got 140 of them to cruise through, it is just too much to resist. Pick the decade from 1902 to the late 1970s, and you would find it here, from a gangster-friendly air-cooled Franklin to one of the cars from the Mad Max series, or the Incarnate car that inspired Doc Hudson in the movie Cars. It was totally a trip down memory lane. We had a 2-door Plymouth just like this. I was standing in the back seat, and I had my head out the window like a dog. And of course it had a long door because it was a 2-door. So my head's behind her and she rolls up the window and rolls my head up in the window.
From maximum security to maximum horsepower, Chad and I agreed on one thing. Deer Lodge, Montana has preserved the heart of the Old West through its museums.
Rhea and I will be right back with more of AYL in just a minute.